So, do you ever feel like life is just getting too hard? Maybe you feel like this ball, getting bounced around, flinging back and forth, and you don't even know, like, what's really going on. It could be your, or maybe a relationship issue, or you're having um, health issues. Really doesn't matter what the challenge is. I know if life is getting hard, it sucks, doesn't it? I know it does for me. And I know if you've been watching my channel, you saw me all of a sudden just disappear. Now, if you're new to this, welcome. But if you haven't been here, if you've been here before, I just disappeared. And what happened to me? Life got really hard. It was challenging. Back on Thanksgiving, I all of a sudden got a vertigo attack that made me, so sick. The room was spinning like this, like crazy, that I couldn't even stand up without throwing up. And so life got really, really, really hard. Have you ever been there? Maybe yours is a health challenge, like I said, or you don't like your job, or you lost your job, or maybe your relationship is challenging. Whatever it is, what I learned from this experience, and I want to share with you, this 4-step process of how do you get from life feeling hard back to life being in flow. Because, wouldn't you like flow? You know what flow is, right? Yeah, I know you know what hard is, but flow is where there's this sense of like things are working out, right? Even if you have to put forth energy, it's working out. So when I went through my journey of having this challenge of just vertigo, where I couldn't even get out of bed without the room spinning, it went on and on and on. It went on for weeks. That's why I hadn't been around here for a long time. Okay. And I got good enough so I could get out of bed and make it to the couch, but still was at the couch feeling nauseous and like I was on a boat with motion sickness, just not feeling well. And I got to a point in my life with that vertigo where I started to feel like if it stays like this, I can't live this way. You ever feel that way where you feel like, oh my God, I can't live this way with this happening? Well, that's what was happening to me then, was I just felt like that. But then in that moment when I heard myself say that to myself, I realized, wait, this is the wrong thing. I got to stop doing this. I've got the wrong frame of the way I'm looking at life. Okay. Because I started to look like or feel like this thing was happening to me, and it was hard because I was suffering. I felt like I was suffering. It was there to make me suffer. And that's when I got connected back with the spiritual truth. And I had to realize that life, the things that are happening in life that feel hard, are not just happening to make you suffer. Okay. So that's step one. You got to realize when something's happening that you don't like. All right. Because if it feels hard, you don't like it. It's happening not to make you suffer. It's not happening to make you struggle. It's happening actually for you. So that's step number one. You have to have a shift on, you know, looking at whatever's happening in your life, no matter how hard it feels, that it's actually happening for you. So when I actually had that shift in perspective of, wait a minute, how's this working for me? The spiritual truth is that everything's happening for the betterment of my life. So that's step one, having this thing that it's not getting hard to make you suffer. It's happening for you for the betterment of your life. See, so how do you get to that place though? Because in the beginning, when I was saying it, all I had was a perspective shift. I wasn't really feeling it or believing it at that moment. You know how sometimes when you're on the spiritual path, you hear truths and you're like, yeah, that sounds true, but that's not my experience. Well, when you have a physical problem, it's really hard sometimes when your physical sensations in your body are telling you it's not all right, right? So even if it's a relationship or your job, you're going there and you're not liking it, or the relationship you're maybe arguing a lot, you're feeling like this cannot be what life's supposed to be about. It feels so hard. In fact, sometimes you feel like this little ball at the end of the string, right, being bounced around. So when I first got that shift, I realized, oh, I've lost my connection with spirit at this moment. Like, now we're always connected. You're never not connected. But my awareness, I was not like feeling deeply like aware. I was still doing my spiritual practices every morning, every evening, either laying in bed or laying on the couch. But I was doing them more out of habit than having that deep spiritual connection. And that's step number 2. Step number 2 is, you have to start asking yourself, well, this is before step number 2. You have to ask yourself, how is this working for me? What am I to learn from this? What am I to do different? What shift in consciousness do I need to have? And when I started asking those questions, that's when I realized that step 2 is like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not connecting well with my higher power. I'm not having that deep, meaningful connection that makes me feel like all things are possible. I know that Divine Mother's working with me. And so I started to do my spiritual practices in a whole different way. So whatever you call your higher power, whether it's God, Buddha, Allah, it doesn't matter what the name, it matters that you do a prayer that gives you that deep connection. You do maybe a ritual, or you meditate, or you do a chant where you really feel like, ah, God is within me, outside of me, all around me. So you can feel that energy, because the blessing is actually coming from your higher power. And that the event that's happening that's making life hard is only happening because you're off track. You're not quite in alignment with your true heart's desire. So that third step, you have to start checking in with yourself and asking yourself, where am I out of alignment with my heart's desire, my true heart's desire? What is or are my true heart's desires? Because you have more than one, okay? What are those things? Because the only reason why life gets really hard is because you're off track. You're not following that true heart's desire. For me, what had gotten off track, that I, hadn't really realized in my process, and what brought these steps to me and made me realize from doing it, was that I had been getting too much into the shoulds of business rather than the truth of what was in my heart to convey in my videos to you, to convey into my art right back there, to convey that what I want to like actually bring to you, to the people I work with, to my clients, to my students, to my viewers on, YouTube, to my email list, to everybody that wants to be connected with me and that I want to be here to serve. I was losing like the idea of, I was looking at more of like, what do I think they want to hear, rather than, okay, what is Divine Mother guiding me to share with you that can transform your life? And so that's my true heart's desires. I really want to be a blessing in the world and help bless you, help bless the world, make it a more positive place. But I was getting in more to like how to do the videos, what do I think that people will, sign up for? Because, as having my own business, I'm here to serve you, but I also need to serve you in a way that is my truth too, not just what I think you want to hear, right? And so I was off track some. I had let my painting kind of take a back seat and was not painting that often. I've been wanting to paint these 54 versions of Mother Mary, and I had gotten off track. And so when I realized that, by checking in with myself, I thought, okay, I made a commitment to start painting every single day. And I started painting every day. And as I did that, I got my true heart's desire in alignment. I started to feel better and better and better, because painting was the only thing I could get up and do, and for some reason not feel sick. You would think, oh, I'm going to feel sick all the time, right? And I feel nauseous and like motion sickness all the time, no matter what I'm doing. But painting was the one thing I could do. And so I knew that that was Divine Mother guiding me, giving me some direction of, I've been off track. I call myself the creative mystic, and I had forgotten to ever share with you the creative part. I had forgotten to share. I'd share some of the mystical experiences, giving you a message from the spirit guides. But I was off track in that I wasn't really always checking in with my heart. And so it's really important to check in with your heart's desire. like with yourself. Now, you may be someone that struggles to know what that true heart's desire is. And if you are, love to see it. Take advantage of a next step connection call that I do. It's a gift that I want to offer you. You can see it there on the bottom of the screen. You can go to deepulu.com/gift and sign up for a complimentary next step connection call, because maybe you need help to learn how to know what your true heart's desire is. But if you know what it is, start checking in with yourself on a daily basis. Okay. And then when you know you're off track, you know that you need to create something new. That's the fourth step. You have to create something new and different. Now, ultimately, you want to create a new way of belief, a new paradigm, because your beliefs and paradigms have what gotten you into this direction of going off course. The program you get a lot of shoulds and have tos of what you think you should do or have to do. And that gets you doing things that aren't your true heart's desire. Okay. But what I have found, and that's why I'm sitting here in my art studio, I wanted you to see, is that I found creativity, creating something with your physical hands starts to change your mind too. People sometimes want to just do it with their mind. And if you know anything about yoga postures, you know that people go into the positions. Well, the real reason why you're supposed to do these yoga postures is to actually bring out higher states of consciousness. Thousands and thousands of years ago, great yogis, you know, attain these great levels of higher consciousness, and their bodies kind of went into these positions. And so when you do the yoga postures, what you're trying to do is reverse the process. You're trying to put your body into that position to invoke that higher state of consciousness in you. It's one of the reasons why I love yoga postures. It's one of the reasons why I became a yoga teacher. Okay. So when you actually create something with your hands, like I go to painting, it started to change how I was thinking, especially if you create whatever you create. Now, you don't have to be a painter. You can be somebody who, does woodwork or does knitting or needlecraft, or, whatever it is you love to create with your hands to make something new and different. I want you to do something new and different, okay? Because then you start to engage and your faculties start to be different in your consciousness when you're doing something new and different that you're making. Just the mere fact of, like, when I do my spirit guide portals, I get a vision. Now I'm seeing a vision and I have to bring it into this 2D form, but it's from this vision that came from like the fifth dimension, and I'm trying to put it in a 2-dimensional, portal so that you can connect with that spirit guide. Well, it doesn't always compute. Like, how can I get it to look like what I saw? Okay. So me just going through the process of like experimenting to make that happen, because it is an experimental process sometimes. Okay. That it starts to shift my consciousness within me, and I start to look at life differently. And when you start to look at life differently, you start to go, there are new possibilities. And that's the door you need to open to start to change your belief system, to change your paradigm. Because your paradigm, which are your belief systems, but your paradigm also includes the behaviors that you're doing constantly. Okay. So the way that you change those is by creating something new. So I'm going to recap it really quick for you because I went over it quick. So the first step is realizing life is not getting hard to make you suffer. Okay. It's happening for the betterment of your life. And I used to even do that. I used to go around saying that when something happened that frustrated me, I would say, everything's happening for the betterment of my life. So I recommend that's like kind of the first step. The second step is actually, do a prayer to reconnect consciously with your higher power. Even though you're always connected, you want to do it in a meaningful way, one that makes your heart feel open and loving and joyful. You want not like a begging prayer, but like, I say, Divine Mother, I know you're with me. I know this is happening for me. Thank you for this experience, because it's going to guide me in the way you're trying to get me to go. And it's not like you don't have a choice in this, but it's about like your desire that you have. Your higher power is actually trying to get that for you, and they're trying to guide you so you can get to it. Okay. So then the third one is to check in with yourself. to find out, well, where am I out of alignment with my true heart's desires? Because this is why life is happening where it's getting hard. So whenever you notice life is starting to get hard, where you're starting to struggle, it means that you're out of touch with your true heart's desire and the way that spirit is trying to get you to flow. So you're in flow. Okay. And the fourth step is you want to start creating something new and different. It's the thing that's going to help you get your mindset, your belief system into a different place. And so the way you move from hard to flow is by realizing it's not happening to make you suffer. You do a heartfelt, meaningful way to get back connected back to your higher power. You check with yourself because your desires, spirit wants to help you manifest them. Okay. It's not like your true heart's desires or there's anything ever wrong with them. You are on this planet for a reason to fulfill those heart's desires, to make a difference in the world. Okay. And then the fourth step, which starts to shift it, is that creating something new and different. That's what's going to take you from life feeling hard to life being in flow. All right. So again, if you'd like to get a next step connection call, feel free to go get that. If you're looking for a coach, if you're looking for, maybe you're wanting to show more about with your spirit guides, feel free to go to deepaloo.com, Sacred Art, and check it out. My different spirit guide portals, because maybe you want something visual to help you connect and have that meaningful way to connect with your higher power. All right. So I am so looking forward to seeing you in the next video. I'm going to be doing another live next Tuesday, the 19th, about your creative flow. Because I tell you to create something new, how do you get into that creative flow? Because that creativity, when you get into that creative flow, brings you even more into that flow in your life. Have a miraculous day, and I'll see you in the next video. Blessings.